Hello, class of the Rigor. I hope all of you have had a pretty good day, but according to my script that I have no clue what actual day it is. But let us not tear a hole in the fabric of space and time trying to figure things out. Anyway, I'm here to tell you all about the project that I read over the summer. Not to be a basic reader, but I decided to read Paper Towns by John Green, and I know what you're all thinking. Why that book? Well, in the past, I read The Fault in Our Stars and Looking for Alaska, and I'd become associated with John Green's work. I figured it would be another one of John's masterpieces, which it was, but hey, reader's gonna read. Anyways, let's get started since I've already taken up a couple of seconds with my spiel. Paper Towns takes place in a fictional subdivision named Jeffersontown. To be more specific, Jeffersontown is located in a suburban Orlando, Florida. Jeffersontown houses many of the characters who you will meet in the story, but for now, let's get to the main characters, Quinn, or Quinn if you will. Q's full name is Quentin Jacobson. He takes the role of both the narrator and the protagonist. Q has two parents who are both employed and are very professional. They like it when Q cusses because in a way it reveals how he has nothing to hide from his parents, and they love him for it. Now that deserves some cool kid points. At least 15. But anyways, back to my analysis. Q's a senior getting ready to graduate high school and he's ready for it. His two best friends, Radar and Ben, have been with Q since day one, which even though he isn't in band with the duo, although they like to play video games, Q's not very good to be honest. You could say that he was a normal boy, but you also can't say he was weird. His life is amazing, but he's had a crush on his neighbor, Margot Roth Spiegelman. But she isn't too normal either, but not in the weird and creepy way. She's just tired on all the blandness and no creativity in the town she lives in. As Margot quotes, "It's a paper town. All those paper people living in paper houses, burning the future to stay warm. Everyone demented with the mania of owning things. I've lived here for 18 years and I've never once in my life came across anyone who cares about anything that matters. So because of all this non-creativity, she decides to leave Jefferson Park. But for that, she spends a night of pranking activities with Q. These activities vary in the book. For example, they go from breaking up sexual activities with Margot's ex-boyfriend to leaving fish behind, saying, 'From Margot, our friendship sleeps with the fishes.' The night, in a way, is Q's best night ever. That is until the next day when he disappears. I mean, she. You know what I meant. Anyways, Q wakes up hoping to see Margot and see that things will have changed. Instead, Q wakes up to see an investigator in his home, reporting that Margot has run away from home. Q tries to understand what has happened, and he accidentally discovers a clue of Margot's absence, which he then realizes that Margot has left clues as to why she's missing. So Radar, Ben, and of course Q decide to go on a hunt for clues, going to an abandoned tourist trap, looking around and finding particles of Margot's supplies. But prom is around the corner, and Ben and Radar are planning on going with their dates. But Q declines. When prom occurs, Q stays behind and investigates clues for hours, which he then gets a call from Ben asking to be an escort home. So, he goes to the party when he finds Ben has been drinking alcoholic beverages. Then Ben is revealed to have a sacred sword of beer cans glued to his hand. Oh dear. Anyway, so he takes them home, and the next day, Q and his friends decide to go back to the abandoned tourist trap. Q finds a board with multiple pinholes, examining them carefully. Once he sees it, he reveals to his friends that Margot has gone to New York City. Q wanted to drive to see her, but their high school graduation was on the day they planned to go. What they decided was best to drive from the graduation to see her. But before all of that, Q gets his own minivan, which he then uses for the journey to New York. They take the journey, and after a long 24 hours, they arrive to the location. They look around, and they eventually do find Margot. Yay! But Margot was mad at them. They talked for a long time, they understood each other, and then Q asked her to come back to Orlando, which she then declines. Q is saddened to hear this, but understands, so he embraced her in his arms. He kisses her, tells her that he'll miss her, drives back home, and he moves on without the thought of Margot. And that's how it ends. Well, I've probably used all of my energy on that paragraph of information, but as it says on this document by Senor Rigor, I am to tell you about thoughts and assessment. To begin with, I thought that it was a perfect book for all angles possible. It had comedy, mystery, and I honestly felt it was one with Q as I read along with his amazing senior journey. Another thing I picked up from this wonderful quest, I realized the theme that Mr. Green had intended for the reader to pick up on. A theme I could give an 100% on is chasing after what you want in life, no matter what is left behind. And really, it shows for most of the characters in the book, including example, Margot best relates to this as she doesn't care that she's leaving everything behind. She doesn't want to be stuck in Orlando no longer because she hates it there. Ben also proves well enough along with the theme. He was incredibly determined to date Lacey no matter what it took. He knew it would cost everything, but he eventually got his goal knowing he would lose a ton. So this story, as I've expertly described, is very convoluted, but with all this interesting detail, there is a moral. People are not paper. They have dimensions, and though at first Q seems to see Margot as this wonderful, perfect, and hot next-door neighbor, he soon learns that she's realer than that. What John Green is trying to explain in our view or idea of a person will never be enough to show all that the person is. Because humans are a complex piece of machinery. Hard to understand, but once cracked, you can understand who they are. Yes, they take time, you'll suffer and sacrifice time, but you'll get there. As I've said before, people are not paper. Thank you.